Ready? Okay, good. Thank you. Welcome all to tonight's special meeting at the Alpine Shire Council. Welcome to our ratepayers from Harrietful and Bright, and those who are watching on YouTube. For those present, I just ask that the mobile devices are either turned off or put on to silent, please. Recording and live streaming of council meetings. The CEO will read the following statement.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All council meetings are filmed with both video and audio being recorded. Video is focused on a specific area, however audio from the entire room is captured. By speaking during question time or any time during the meeting, you consent to your voice and then any comments you make being recorded. In common with all narrative during council meeting, verbal responses to congratulations, obituaries and question time will not be recorded in the written minutes. The reasoning behind recording council meetings is of course to hold us more accountable and improve transparency of council's decision making to our community. The full meeting is being streamed live on council's YouTube channel, which is Alpine Shire Council, and will also be available on the YouTube channel shortly after this meeting.
Thank you. Item 2, acknowledgement of traditional custodians and recognition of all people. If you could stand, please.
The Alpine Shire Council acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we are now on. We also acknowledge those people who have contributed to the rich fabric of our community and strive to make wise decisions that will improve the quality of life for all.
Thank you. Item 3, apologies. The Councillor Knapstein, and we wish her and her family a happy Christmas. Declarations of councillors of conflict of interest. Nil. As this is a special council meeting, we do not have questions from the floor, and there are no questions on notice. Presentation of reports by officers. Item 5.1. Child Safety Policy, Director Corporate, Natalie Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The purpose of this report is to present to Council the 2017 Child Safe Policy and seek Council's adoption of this new policy. A Child Safe Policy has been developed to reflect Council's legislative responsibility in meeting the requirements of both the Victorian Government's Child Safe Standards and the Reportable Conduct Scheme, and to affirm our commitment to the community to create and sustain an environment where children are safe and protected from harm and abuse.
Councillor Keeble, seconder. Councillor Pearce, thank you. Councillor Keeble.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Will we all sign the child safety policy at the end of the meeting?
Yes, I do have a copy of the policy to sign it.
Okay, fantastic. No, it's good to see.
Councillor Pearce?
No, it's okay.
Okay, any further comment? Take it to the vote. All those in favour? Carried. Item 5.2.1, Transfer Station Upgrade Works, Director Assets, Mr. Jeremy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This report relates to the award of Contract 1708-501, Mount Beauty Transfer Station Upgrade, and Contract 1708-601, Myrtleford Transfer Station Upgrade. In May 2017, Sustainability Victoria committed to providing $500,000 funding under their Rural and Regional Landfill Support Programme to develop transfer station facilities at Mount Beauty and Myrtleford. The Mount Beauty and Myrtleford transfer station upgrade work was tendered separately. Invitations to tender were advertised in the Alpine Times, Herald Sun and on tenders.net and Alpine Shire Council websites.
So moved.
Councillor Forsyth, second. Councillor Nicholas. Councillor Forsyth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think this is just business as normal, I think, basically. Does this then get us over the hump with EPA and things like that? Are there any ongoing issues at all?
So this isn't related to EPA obligations, so those would relate to the rehabilitation of the landfills.
Okay, so this is just a transfer station in order to get us up to speed to get the stuff sent over to Patho?
This is to improve the efficiency of the operations that we operate out
Lovely.
of our landfill, our transfer stations.
Okay. Councillor Nicholas? Nothing further. Any further comment? Take the vote. All those in favour? Carried. I think it's worth noting there in that last item too that by moving to transfer stations and getting rid of our landfill to meet state government guidelines is going to save, we believe, the ratepayer a substantial amount of money in the long term. 5.2.2 Dinner Plain Village Green. Is that you again, Mr. Jeremy?
It is, Mr. Mayor, yes.
Yeah.
This report summarises the key outcomes and recommendations to Council resulting from the Dinner Plain Village Green feasibility study and community engagement process. In May 2015, the Dinner Plain Master Plan identified a village green as a potentially high impact project with a medium priority for implementation. In April 2016, Council asked the Dinner Plain ratepayers which projects they would like to see developed to improve their community. The highest rating response from 46% of respondents was for a village green or oval open space area. In September 2016, the Dinner Plain Advisory Committee requested that Council progress the Village Green project for a space of between 1.35 and 1.45 hectares. Council subsequently undertook a detailed feasibility study, including a feature survey, preliminary engineering design, cost estimate, flora and fauna assessment, and cost-benefit analysis. In August 2017, the Village Green project proposal was presented to all Dinner Plain ratepayers, and their feedback was sought as to whether Council should continue to progress this project. The outcomes which follow are based on the feedback from the 138 ratepayers who responded to the survey, and they exclude the non-ratepayer responses we received to the survey. 54% of respondents said the Village Green was important to them.
Well, I'd like to propose an alternative recommendation than another that's noted here, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councillor Roper.
My recommendation 1 stands. The Council does not proceed with the Dinner Plain Village Green project, and I'd like to insert a 2 and make number 2 number 3. And the 2 I would like to insert is Council will consider future open space proposals at Dinner Plain that are low cost and have low environmental, cultural heritage and visual impacts. And number 2 to be 3 investigates a potential.
Just hold.
So I've just got. Would you like me to do that again?
The electric fingers aren't as good as they.
Okay. So we're up to that. I'm going to give you 2 again. So Council will consider future open space proposals at Dinner Plain that are low cost and have low environmental, cultural heritage and visual impacts.
Thank you.
And number 2, which is currently there, as was original number 2, becomes number 3, which is investigates a potential to establish at Lot 3 as a native vegetation council credit register offset site for future Dinner Plain projects.
Second.
So we have a new recommendation there, as is on the board by Councillor Roper. Councillor Keeble, you seconded that, did you? Yeah, Councillor Keeble. Councillor Roper, do you want to talk to that?
I think this covers off on what the major comments were. In the plan, we're not quite sure, the proposal as the Dinner Plain Village Green project obviously was becoming a rather large and complex project. And I think that the respondents really weren't happy with what the cost was going to be and the cultural heritage, environmental and visual impacts of what that proposed Dinner Plain Village Green was going to be, which did involve a rather large and expensive project to get to the size that somebody wanted. But however, in saying if we can find, if something turns up that does meet those criteria, you know, I would be happy to consider them as council going forward, as which I think was the original intent of the Dinner Plain Village Green project. But let's just, or if a project needs to be that scale, it probably needs to be somewhere else, perhaps not at Dinner Plain. But there is a possibility for smaller scale projects at Dinner Plain.
Thank you. Councillor Keeble.
No, I think Councillor Braybrass said it all.
Is there further comment?
No, same.
No? All right, we'll take that latest proposal to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you. And I just note for the record that Council did provide 1 hour's time prior to Council meeting for any person who wanted to address Council laws on this particular item, and we received one person directly, and there were some phone calls made earlier. So Council has taken those comments into consideration in their deliberations. So thank you to those people who provided commentary in relation to this item. Item 5.2.3, Resource Recovery Infrastructure Fund.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Jeremy?
An opportunity exists for Council to seek funding to implement a food organics and garden organics recovery programme in urban communities in the Alpine Shire. This report outlines the details of the proposed funding application and seeks Council's financial commitment towards the project. Alpine Shire Council does not currently include recovery of food organics and garden organics in its curbside collection. Recovery of organics provides the following potential benefits: reduction in methane emissions, which contribute to greenhouse gas abatement, diversion of material from landfill, reduction in health and amenity risks associated with the disposal of organic material in landfills, and an opportunity to use the processed organic material as a soil improver or for power generation. Sustainability Victoria has recently opened applications for the Resource Recovery Infrastructure Fund. The fund prioritises projects aimed at diverting organic materials away from landfill and presents a potential opportunity to partially fund the implementation of a FOGO service in Alpine Shire. Proposed implementation of a FOGO curbside collection service has not yet been tested in the community. Based on experience in other North East councils, such a proposal is likely to generate significant community interest, including both support and opposition. The proposed changes to the waste collection service would require behavioural changes for residents, and a thorough education programme would be necessary both prior to and throughout the implementation of the new service. Based on the experience of other North East councils, a reduction in waste to landfill in the order of 45 to 52% could be anticipated. An increase of 350 tonnes in the total amount of material collected has been estimated, comprising garden waste which is not currently collected. Given the current priority being placed on the diversion of organic material from landfills in state and regional strategies, there is a possibility that the implementation of an organics recovery programme will be mandated in the future for all Victorian councils. Based on the model that we have developed, the cost of implementing a FOGO curbside collection service is estimated...
Mr. Mayor, if I could just interrupt Mr. Jeremy.
Yes.
So before Mr. Jeremy gets to the recommendation, I'd like to propose an alternative recommendation.
Yes, if councillors are happy with the CEO to propose an alternative at this point.
Well, I think it's actually not actually proposing a new recommendation. I think with the current knowledge that the CEO has, he's giving us the council executive's recommendation, which we take to be the new recommendation.
Happy with that? For that to occur?
Yeah, that would be
if our learned typist could type away.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the time that the report was written, we had an indication around what the cost of delivering that service to our community would be in the short term. We were hopeful that we would have a clearer picture and much more certainty around what the cost of delivering that service would be to our community in the medium term. So, however, unfortunately that hasn't prevailed, and I'd like to propose the new recommendation, which is the Council defer a decision to implement a food, organics and garden organics recovery service until the next round of relevant state government funding, when there is greater certainty around the cost of delivering the service in the medium term.
Councillor Pearce and Councillor Forsyth. Councillor Pearce.
Well, given the information we received on not getting the funding, that's no other way to go really. So, good decision.
Thank you, Councillor Forsyth.
I'll just, yes, I'd agree with Councillor Pearce has said, and I'm a bit concerned that if we had gone down the track of the first proposal, then we could have been up for all kinds of money, which is going to have to be ratepayers' money eventually, and I just don't think that that's fair. So,
Comment from all right?
No.
Councillor Nicholas.
It's disappointing that we're not moving forward on FOGO, because it's pretty important that across probably the world we start reducing landfill. But I think this gives us certainly a decision is the right decision to make. We couldn't go ahead without knowing what the cost was. But I think this gives us some opportunity to look at behavioural change across at least our local community and reduce landfill in other ways.
Thank you. I don't think we're saying we're not going to do FOGO. It's just we need to have our figures right before we make that decision.
Mr Mayor, we just can't blithely enter a contract that we actually really don't know the implications of, which I think we're all agreeing with, and I think we all agree that the environment is a pretty special place and a lot of people live in the Alpine Shire because of the environment, but we just can't blithely enter a contract without knowing what the cost is going to be.
It's proper business decision and governance. Take it to the vote. All those in favour? Carried. Yep. Item 6, documents for sealing. Oh, Councillor Forsyth.
Councillor Pearce.
Yeah, I signed it.
Councillor Pearce.
Last week.
There's no general business as being a special council meeting. Just a moment. Oh, 5:21.
Why don't we have general business? Because
The special council meeting, the rules basically are that
so
we
you
don't
won't
have.
be able to wish Merry Christmas to anyone. And
Well, I will be. That'll be my closing comments, Councillor Pearce. Yes. So I declare the meeting closed at 5:21. Thank you. Thank you for those attending, watching on YouTube, and I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Safe and Happy New Year with you and your families. Please stay safe. We want you back here again next year in one piece. And yeah, thank you again. And thank you to my councillors. I hope you all have a nice Christmas as well. Thank you.
Thanks.